In a nation striving for stability, peace, and progress, Burkina Faso has taken a decisive step forward with the training and deployment of 450 new volunteers for the defense of the homeland, VDPs. But these volunteers are not just being trained to fight, they are being equipped to rebuild and develop the nation from within. To begin with, the image of the VDP in Burkina Faso has traditionally been associated with local security efforts, citizens who answered the call to protect their communities from growing threats, like terrorism and armed conflict. But under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré, the role of the VDP is evolving dramatically. Today, these volunteers are being transformed from defenders into nation builders. Their training now includes not just military preparedness, but also education in agriculture, health, civil responsibility, and public service. Over the past 3 months, these 450 individuals underwent an intensive training program that combined physical readiness with development-focused learning. From first aid and irrigation techniques to community leadership and infrastructure support, these volunteers are now fully prepared to serve beyond the battlefield. Building on this evolution, the motivation behind this shift is clear. Burkina Faso's future depends not just on security, but on sustainable development. The nation has faced years of conflict, displacement, and economic hardship. In many rural areas, schools have been shut down, farms abandoned, and infrastructure destroyed. The government realized that rebuilding Burkina Faso requires boots on the ground, not just to guard borders, but to dig wells, repair roads, and replant fields. By training VDPs to participate in national development projects, the government is bridging the gap between defense and development, empowering citizens to take an active role in healing the wounds of war. These 450 trained VDPs will now be deployed to various regions of the country, where they will engage in initiatives such as supporting agricultural cooperatives, assisting in the rebuilding of schools and clinics, helping displaced communities return and resettle, contributing to local infrastructure projects, offering civic education and community leadership. This is an approach grounded not just in urgency, but in vision. Looking ahead, this initiative is part of a broader strategy to reshape Burkina Faso's development model. President Traoré's government has made it clear, these 450 VDPs are only the beginning. This initiative is part of a larger plan to restructure Burkina Faso's national development strategy, rooted in self-reliance, community empowerment, and national pride. Thousands more volunteers are expected to be trained in the coming years not as temporary stopgaps, but as permanent pillars of the country's reconstruction. The long-term goal is to make the VDP program a model of citizen-led governance and grassroots development. By turning ordinary citizens into active participants in the rebuilding of their homeland, Burkina Faso is taking ownership of its future in a powerful and inspiring way. Consequently, this approach reflects a deep change in thinking. For generations, the people of Burkina Faso have been told to wait for aid, for assistance, for foreign investment. But with this program, the state is sending a different message. You are the answer. You are the builder. This is already becoming visible on the ground. VDPs are helping to dig wells, rebuild roads, and bring supplies to communities previously cut off due to conflict. They are showing that security and development go hand in hand, and that the road to national recovery begins with empowered citizens. Nevertheless, the journey is not without its difficulties. Burkina Faso still faces security threats, limited resources, and political tensions. Ensuring that the VDP program is not misused or undersupported is critical. So is the need for transparency, accountability, and continued investment in training and equipment. However, what makes this moment different is the commitment to long-term change. The government is reportedly working on digital monitoring tools to ensure transparency in how resources are used and how VDPs are deployed. Public dashboards may soon allow citizens to track which regions are benefiting from development projects, what share of the budget comes from national resources, and how VDPs are contributing. Ultimately, the training and deployment of these 450 VDPs signals a historic shift in how Burkina Faso is shaping its future. Burkina Faso's decision to train and deploy 450 VDPs as agents of both defense and development signals a profound transformation in how the country sees itself. No longer simply a victim of outside threats or economic hardship, Burkina Faso is asserting its right to define its own path, build its own future, and empower its own people. These 450 volunteers are not just workers or soldiers, they are symbols of a new beginning. And as more VDPs are trained and more communities are restored, the message becomes clear. The future of Burkina Faso will be built by Burkinabe hands, on Burkinabe soil, for the Burkinabe people. And above all, Traoré is saying one thing loud and clear. Burkina Faso's future will be decided by its own people. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more content that shines a light on Burkina Faso's real stories, its history, its heroes, and its power, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for updates. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.